French nails with glitter and chrome, count me in. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. Today we are doing some super fun French nails that also have glitter, little glitter accent, and we're chroming. I haven't chromed in a really long time. I wanted to add some chrome into a mani, and I wanted to squeeze in one last summerish mani before it's officially fall. So we are doing this gorgeous yellow color, and when I went to do my French, I realized that I did it a little too far down. So what's the answer if you mess up your mani? Either add some glitter, add some chrome, add some stamping over it. Today we're going to do the option of adding some glitter in. This is a twin mani I'm doing with my friend Riley. I'll make sure I link her YouTube channel in the description. So she did hers with all nail polishes and I'm doing mine with all dip powders. We want to do something fun and matching, but show that you can do manis in both dip powders and nail polishes. Whenever you're doing French nails in dip powder, you can just dip your nail straight into the jar. And when you do this, be a little bit more careful than I did. I just shoved my nail in way too far in typical Nicole fashion, not really paying attention a lot. So I did it a little too far down. And I'm looking at my nails. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It's so far down. Oh, let me add a little bit of glitter on the bottom. This way it'll look like it was supposed to be there. Now I could have just done this and not told you guys that I put the yellow too far down, that the glitter was the plan the whole time, but that's just not how I roll. If you watch my videos, you know that I'm messy, I make mistakes, and I admit what I do. So that's how the glitter French came into play, what you saw at the beginning. That's how I end up adding the glitter French at the bottom, just so that it doesn't look like the French nail is too far down. I just felt like it wasn't quite at the right spot. And this yellow that I'm using is called Dearest Reader from OG Dip Powder. And I'm using a really, really sheer pink for the bottom part of the French. You can use clear, you can use something sparkly. I mean, really anything that's sheer works well. You don't want to use a dip that is opaque, ends up showing up too much on the French part of your mani, like the yellow. So that's why I want to use something really, really sheer. And once I finished the two French nails, I did 2 dips of the yellow and then 2 pour overs of the sheer pink. Then I took my dip base brush and just tilted it to the side to make a really thin line right along the bottom of my French yellow. And after I poured the glitter into a cupcake liner, I just flipped my nail over and laid that little line right onto the glitter. I used the bottom of my cuticle pusher since it's really, really pointy, and I saw my friend Ashley do this. Whenever she does color blocking, she uses the really pointy side of the cuticle pusher to fix up her line and color blocking. So I was like, oh my gosh, that would work perfectly to fix up my line for this French. And I had to maneuver my hand around to be able to really see where I was moving the little French line. And I fixed the bottom of it on my middle finger. The top didn't need fixed at all. But when I did it to my ring finger, I applied a little too much dip base towards the top of the French nail. So I just again used that pointy side of the cuticle pusher to fix up where my French line went before it dried. And since these liquids that I use, I'm using the OG dip liquids, they're medium dry, so I had enough time to be able to fix up my line. If you're using a fast dry, it would be a lot harder, but I've been trying to show as many dip liquids designs as I possibly could, just because I know everybody can't use gels. And I know that later in the mani, I do use gels to do chroming, but you could totally do the entire design that I'm doing up into the chroming. You could do it with just dip liquids. Now I'm going to go in with this gorgeous yellow on my other 3 fingers. And spoiler alert, I was really tired at this point. There, I just dropped the yellow all over the place. I don't know. The jar just flung out of my hands when I was trying to set it down after doing the pour over. When I do my nails late at night, I feel like sometimes my brain is just totally not working. I like to call my brain Brian because I always mistype that. So Brian's not always working late at night or pretty much ever. So I do a lot of really messy, goofy things. And that was one of them. And I feel like I definitely did not apply my base liquids evenly. You can see when I'm doing my nails that the yellow does not look very even, and it is not the powder's fault. This is operator error. I'm pretty sure that I applied my peel base underneath kind of evenly. I do that on occasion. I tend to do it on my thumbs. I think because my thumbs are so big, when I'm doing my peel base over my builder gel, I don't always apply it really thinly. So it is definitely not this powder's fault. This is some user error, and I was hoping that I could buff and shape it really smooth so that the chrome would show up nicely, which that did happen luckily. When you're using dip liquids and you finish with clear dip powder, I've noticed no matter what you do it on, what color, glitter, anything, just like a plain flat, it fills in any of like the little gaps that you missed. So if your application wasn't super even, like on my thumb, the application just was not as even as I normally like it to be, or the clear dip powder that I do as the last dip just gives it that nice filled in effect, so when you buff and shape, you can get it to be really smooth and look really nice and even without messing up any of the pigment of your flat dip powder. Or if you're using glitters, obviously then your glitter won't be messed up. Whatever you're doing, that last layer of clear dip powder to me is key. Okay, I think it's a game changer for doing your nails if you struggle with buffing and shaping. And obviously other things that really help are using thin liquids. That's going to keep your layers thin. Pouring over your powders, that also keeps your nails thin. And when I did it, I wanted to make sure that I used my actually clear dip powder. So I have a couple different clears. I have one for solids, one for shimmers, and then one for glitters. Since I tend to be really messy when I do my nails, especially when I'm using glitter, I have to keep a separate one for my glitters, a separate clear for my glitters, because I end up getting a ton of glitter in my clear dip powder. And I tried straining it recently. I followed this technique that my friend Amaris told me, but I made a total mess of it. And I just found like one of those, I don't even know what kind of little baggies that some stuff comes in. I don't know what kind of material it is. I don't know, it's kind of scratchy stuff. So I tried pouring over some of my clear glitter into that, and that got out a little bit of it. It's like almost like a straining bag. That got out some of the glitters out of my clear glitter powder, but for the most part, like it's still contaminated with glitters. So once you finish with your clear dip powder, you can brush it all off and then apply activator. Now, when I'm using OG's dip liquids, I like to do 2 layers of activator on each of my nails so that they harden faster. But you don't want to apply the activator over and then wait for a while and then apply another layer, because that will make it take a lot longer. So if you do the activator on your one nail and then do another like glob of the activator again, then that will make it harden without making it without it taking too long. Well, once I finished filing and shaping, I did all that off camera. Then I wiped my nails with isopropyl alcohol, and now I'm going in with the gel base. And I did gel base over all my nails. I ended up deciding to do my top coating with all gel since I was going to use them on 3 of them. I thought, why would I try to use gels on just 3 of them and not all 5? I did my gel base and my gel top on my 2 middle fingers, fully cured those so that they were done and they wouldn't get contaminated with any of the chrome. Knowing how messy I am, I wanted to make sure that my other nails were fully cured before I went and touched any chrome, that it wouldn't get onto those 2 middle nails. So when you're chroming, you want to do a thin layer of gel base, fully cure that. And then you want to do a thin layer of gel top and only cure it for half the time. So say your top coat takes 60 seconds to cure, you only want to cure it for 30 seconds, or say it takes 30 or 45 seconds. You get what I mean? Just cure your top coat for half the time. Then you can take one of your little eyeshadow applicators or whatever you like to use to chrome, dip it into your chrome dip powder and gently rub it onto your nail. And that will give you this gorgeously chromed effect. It ends up being really smooth when you cure the top coat halfway. That's how you're going to get that beautifully smooth chrome look. I'm using a unicorn chrome called Spirit Dancer. So the unicorn chromes are typically your sheer chromes. When you use a chrome that is really like deep in color, then that's a chrome that's not going to show up well over colors. If you're looking for something to give like a glazed effect versus a like colored chrome, you want to make sure you're using the unicorn chromes. So once you go through and you add your chrome gently to all the nails, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to dust off before you go and finish fully curing those nails. This is something that I did not do and I wasn't thinking. I brushed off after I finished curing the chrome, because when your chrome is on your nail, you only partially cured it. So you want to make sure you finish curing that nail. So if you cured it for 30 seconds of a 60-second cure, after the chrome is on, finish curing for those other 30 seconds. Once you finish curing your chrome layer, this is going to be key to getting your chrome to stay as long as possible. You can do another layer of gel base over your nail and fully cure that before you go in with your gel top coat and fully cure. This is going to seal your chrome in really well, and make sure you cap your edges on both the gel. If you're still struggling with chrome nails, make sure you check out this next video where I go over how to do the Hailey Bieber glazed pink nails look. Thanks so much for joining me today, nail crew.